Welcome back. In other crime news provided by the police, there was a firearm arrest and recovery in Big Pond on Monday around 8:40 p.m. when officers from Ceasefire arrested a 28-year-old male on Water Street in reference to possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition after a complaint was filed. The suspect was captured after trying to evade police and throwing what turned out to be a high-powered firearm on top of a rooftop as he attempted to flee. And on Grand Bahama, police arrested a 14-year-old student for possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply. The student was arrested on the senior high school campus after receiving a tip. Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, Bounce Loroda, announced the government's Sustainable Development Goals for disabled people ahead of the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. During a press conference at Stapleton School to launch Disability Awareness Week, Minister Loroda announced the Davis administration's goals based on the United Nations Disability and Development Report. The government's reform and management goal includes a commitment to increase cash grants by 10% for people with disabilities and to create inclusive education with dedicated sections for students with disabilities, including another special education classroom at the Early Childhood Development Center. Most notably, Minister Loroda announced the Ministry of Social Services is looking at establishing an organized busing system, providing there is government subsidy. He called for a major shift in the way society views disabled people. Minister Loroda says his ministry is committed to advocating for the inclusion of marginalized groups. And finally, on another matter, the Minister of State for Social Services, Miles Loroda, said 18 rooms at the Poinciana Arena on Bernard Road have been leased to provide housing assistance to Bahamians displaced by shantytown demolitions if needed. The Unregulated Communities Action Task Force, they demolished the Cool Acres shantytown earlier this month. Although 18 rooms have been leased, Mr. Loroda said only 2 of those rooms are currently being occupied by people affected by the demolition. Meanwhile, the government is gearing up for additional demolition exercises in the coming weeks here in the capital and on the Family Islands. Luther Smith, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Works, is reported as saying the dynamics in the All Saints Way shantytown that has a mixture of regulated and unregulated structures is what is holding them up there, and they are trying to get their objectives together before going on with the demolition exercise in that community. And that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jcn Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.